suppose, I think without work, I think he may still have been given his radio job sometimes. I didn't know he was involved in this charity aid game. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. And that you say they've now dropped him from that. Well, that would seem very unfair. Perhaps he's been involved with it for the last few years, so they've now said, no, you can't do it as the BBC dropped you. I don't know, but if they've taken him on and just have dropped him for that, that seems a bit odd to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just get the feeling you got the feeling of it at the time, he sort of lost everything, from being a bit as 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 men can, as we chaps can be a bit daft sometimes. I suppose anybody can be, but you
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
you can get a bit of an elevated impression of yourself if you're quite famous and people kowtow around you a bit. You can perhaps be a bit arrogant sometimes, and maybe people need to be brought down a peg or two, but not completely destroyed. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think I would be more on the forgiving side now that he'd lost a lot, and I think he was a very good match of the day pundit, for example. He's got a good voice for doing the TV programs. So yeah, I would say, unless there's something else I don't know about that he's done, which I'm sure there isn't, I think
Hmm.
it's harsh if ITV have now dropped him at this late stage.
Yeah. I mean, I read that and I thought, and the first thing that came to my mind was, because he did threaten to sue the BBC, and I think
Yeah,
corporations, they don't like that, where they've been forced to walk on eggshells, really, because they're thinking,
yeah,
right, okay, if he's done it once, will he do it again? I'm not talking about the offense, but I'm talking about the law, the legal side of things. Where
mm,
he's threatened to sue. Would he then threaten to sue ITV as well if they, uh, that's where I looked at it from. At first, I thought maybe, because corporations, they don't like anything that has to do with lawsuits, because that means they have to pay out a
no,
little bit, or try to settle for find a middle ground sort of thing. And they don't like that. They don't like anything like that.
no,
So
no.
that's where I thought that the whole thing was coming from anyway. But who knows? It just sort of reminds me of Gary Lineker a little bit, just a little bit of Gary Lineker, because it was the same thing, but it was a different sort of offense, or sort of
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, sort of different, in a different context, wasn't it? Where Gary Lineker had to leave, and it wasn't amicable as well, was it? I mean, he didn't want to leave, but he then left. Now I've not actually watched the what was that program in it? Match of the Day. Yeah, that's it. I've not watched this since Lineker left. Have you?
Well, no, I mean, he did the last one, the last
Right.
Saturday night match of the day. I mean, I
Right.
guess will be occasional Sunday night matches of the day I mean, for example, the playoffs and things like that were still
Yeah.
after or around the end of the season.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be interesting to see the new one next season with
Yeah.
Kelly
Ellie
Cates.
Gates. Yeah.
And of course, I think also, the other girl, I can't think of her name, but she'll mix it on a Sunday as well with the present guy, won't she, mark somebody? But I
Yeah.
think Kelly, is going to be anchored on the Saturday night one. And as I've said before, I think she's an excellent, she's an excellent, you know, what the lead person, the lead pundit on Sky, as she has been. She really is
Yeah.
first class. So I think
Yeah.
she'll be a good fit for match of the day. It'd be interesting to see which pundits they get as well. On Sky, as she has been, she really is
Yeah.
first class. So I think
Yeah.
she'll be a good fit for match of the day. It'd be interesting to see which pundits they get as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the new one hasn't really started yet.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
well, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, watching the England match last night, I saw Mark Chapman. You know, the chap that
yeah, yeah.
you're
That's it.
talking
Yeah.
about, and it was quite good. You know, on ITV when he did presented the you know the friendlies between England and Senegal. Now we're going to come to that now. But first of all, let's go to the first one, Andorra. So England, Andorra. What do you make of it?
Well, yeah, it was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? And in the game last night, I think he started with 10 changes. So maybe that's an issue, which I'll mention in a minute. But yeah, it was disappointing against Andorra. Not the best kind of beginning for Tuchel. You know, he's been around a little while now.
Yeah.
But yeah, perhaps he's got to get his feet under the desk. But
Mm.
overall, that the Andorra game, although England won 1-0, wasn't it? And it
Yeah.
was a World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
So at least they got the points. But in a way, a bit luckily, and you'd think that Andorra might still be one of those sides who really are not in the top echelons of world football, who we
Yeah.
should have done a bit better about, against. So, yeah, but I suppose if you get the points and teams sort of, as they say, win ugly, well, so be it. At least they've got
Yeah.
those points. Whereas last night's was a different kettle of fish. It was a very poor performance and was met with boos at half time and at full time, which is a shame. I mean, I don't think it helps when teams are booed like that. And it is early days for Tuchel, to be fair. But people will no doubt find some criticisms in maybe some of his selections and things like that. But yeah, I would say Andorra was disappointing last night to lose. It was 3-1, I think. It was it 3-1. It was, wasn't it?
Was, yeah.
In the end, is a very poor result. I mean, Senegal are rated about 19th in the world, which is a lot better than they used to be. You know, I think
Mm.
years ago they were one of the teams again that were kind of a bit like San Marino has been viewed as very easy meat for the top teams. But they've
Yeah.
got some very good players. In fact, I might say one of their players, Ismaili Sarr, a Palace player, scored one of their goals. So good for him. He's very quick, and that they, as far as I could see last night, they just looked a better side. Senegal. They had technique, and you could see their confidence as the game went on.